Hello everyone, and welcome to another video. Persephone thought she'd play it straight when she was talking to Robinson Amadeo. It's difficult, guys, sometimes, as you'll see. "Hello," he said. "How are you?" A couple of hours later. He unsent a message. He bumped his own unsent message. "How are you doing today?" "Hello, I don't understand what's happening. You seem desperate to contact me. Has something happened?" "No, thanks for replying to my messages on here. If you don't mind, I would love us to know each other more. I was trying to search someone on here when I came across your profile." "Oh, okay. So tell me, are you married?" "I'm divorced with 2 adult daughters. Good morning." "Good morning, dear. I'm a widower with 1 daughter named Amanda. She's 15 years old, going 16 years. I lost my late wife about giving birth to our 2nd child through an operation. She and the baby died. It was really painful, but we have to move on." For once, I thought maybe a reply was in order, and so Persephone said, "Oh dear, how sad." "Thanks, I do understand. So tell me, do you live alone in your own house or a rented NG?" "I don't live in Nigeria. Are you confusing me with someone else?" "I didn't tell you about Nigeria. I don't know what you're talking about." "Yes, you did. You asked if I rent in NG. I thought you were confusing me with someone else." "This is not what I mean. I mean that do you live in your own apartment?" "Why do you want to know? Are you doing some kind of survey? That's 3 options, I think. My own house, a rented NG, whatever that is, or my own apartment. Are those the only options?" "Okay, I live alone in my own house because my daughter is in the boarding school. So have you ever dated online before?" "I'm not dating online now, have you?" "I've never dated since I lost my wife 5 years ago." "How old are you?" "I'm 65 years old, and you?" "I'm 57. Was your wife the same age as you?" "Where originally are you from?" "No," he said in reply to her asking if his wife was the same age as him. "I'm originally from out Mangalinia." "And where do you live now?" "In Leeds, in England. What about you?" "Originally from a very small town called Turin, Italy, but live in Fresno, California. I'm presently at work here at the Atlantis Deepwater Oil and Gas Platform, which is located 190 miles south of New Orleans, in the Gulf of Mexico Sea, as the contractor manager. My contract here will be expiring in 3 months' time. If a relationship becomes more, I will love to visit you if you don't mind." "What do you do for a living?" "I don't work full-time. My divorce settlement supports me. I do some part-time research for the university in Leeds." "What's a contractor manager, please? Do you mean you work in the HR office hiring contract workers?" "I'm an independent contractor." "Oh, I see, I think. What do you actually do, then?" "Are you willing to relocate if you find your soulmate?" "Not really, no. One of my daughters is here in Leeds." "To me?" "It depends on my soulmate. If she willingly wants me to relocate to her house of living, it's okay with me. But if she wants to relocate to my house, it's okay with me also. Or if she wants us both to relocate to a new location, that again will be okay with me." "You haven't told me what you're independently contracted to do." "How do you normally spend your leisure time?" "I like underwater Scrabble boarding and armchair winkle picking." "You haven't told me what you're independently contracted to do." "Being an independent contractor," Wikipedia or Google informed him, "means providing labour or services on a contractual basis as a non-employee. An independent contractor is self-employed." "Yeah, I know what it means. You haven't told me what you're independently contracted to do. You're providing labour or services on a contractual basis as a non-employee. What labour or services are you providing, please?" "Listening to music, cuddling up, reading a magazine or watching TV, cooking. I love walking in the park." "How much do you enjoy walking in the park?" "We don't really have a park." "You're providing labour or services on a contractual basis as a non-employee. What labour or services are you providing, please?" "What do you cuddle up with or to as you live alone?" "Which magazines do you read?" And if the person that you're talking to online comes up with a list of hobbies or interests, always ask them about at least one of them. Can they give you a sensible answer, or have they just copied and pasted a list? "I enjoy it a lot, feeling the fresh air of nature and viewing the beautiful green trees." "Are you a God-fearing woman?" "No, I'm not." "You're providing labour, or you know this one. What labour or services are you providing, please?" What do you cuddle up with or to as you live alone? Which magazines do you read? I'm not answering any more questions until you answer mine, thanks. An independent contractor, Google or Wikipedia continued, is a person, business or corporation that provides goods or services under a written contract or a verbal agreement. Unlike employees, independent contractors do not work regularly for an employer, but work as required, when they may be subject to law of agency. I do supervise the operation of drilling oil and gas wells. We make sure drilling projects meet international environmental and health and safety standards. Remember that for a minute or two, ladies and gentlemen. I do cuddling up myself, reading sports magazines. Yes, I know what an independent contractor is. It isn't necessary to repeat yourself. It's very condescending. All you needed to do was tell me the last part. So you're a health and safety specialist. No, my dear, I'm not a health or safety specialist. LOL. So she copied the bit where he'd said, we make sure drilling projects meet international environmental and health and safety standards. I'm talking about we make sure that drilling projects meet international environment and health and safety standards. It mean condition of being protected from or unlikely to cause danger, risk or injury. So you ensure health and safety standards are met, but you aren't a health and safety specialist, and you'll realise that's true in a minute. Are you cheaper than employing a professional specialist? And again, there's no need to be condescending. I know what health and safety standards mean. I specialise in drilling oil. Oh, not in compliance with standards. That was just to sound impressive, I see. I've often wondered how'd you drill for oil. I can't even imagine what an oil drill looks like. Neither can our man, you'll find out. Is it very big? Yes, I'm in the middle of the sea. And he sent these two photos. One of the fireman, apparently walking on water, during the Deepwater Horizon explosion. Although if that's a genuine photograph, he was probably standing on some kind of platform. And this one, clearly a different rig, because it's painted a different colour. Why is there a fireman walking on water? What does the oil drill look like, the bit you work on? Today's Sunday, aren't you going to church? What says the time, if I may ask? How's that an answer to my question? It's almost 4 p.m. Why is there a fireman walking on water? What does the oil drill look like, the bit you work on? There was an explosion last week. Oh dear, so you failed in your job to make sure the drilling meets international standards. Are you going to be prosecuted? That's the picture of last week, and the other picture I sent you is today. And you were allowed to stare, or have you been detained for questioning? No, I'll not be prosecuted, and nobody's going to question me, because it's my job. I'm sure they'll question you. There'll have to be a full investigation into what went wrong, surely. The second photo isn't the same place. Or did you have to repaint the rig a different colour? There's nothing like that, because it's my job. They know me very well. My company's not the first company to explode. You want answers from me, but you don't want to answer any of my questions. Are you trying to teach me my job? Of what? Is your questions part of knowing each other? That's very rude. I was trying to understand your work, and I've answered all your questions, and I've done it without being rude, arrogant and condescending. I'm not rude, my dear. I was thinking you have doubts about me. Can't imagine what would give him an idea like that. That's why you ask so many questions about my work. And that's exactly what you should do when you meet someone online. Ask them lots of questions. Anyone that genuinely does the job that they're telling you about would be only too happy to talk about their work and explain it in detail. If the person that you're talking to can't or won't explain their work, then just ask yourself, who are you talking to? Do you live alone in your own house or a rented apartment? He asked. What's your occupation, if I may ask? Oh dear, you claim you aren't rude, but you haven't even had the courtesy to read what I said earlier. Yet you accuse me of not answering your questions when I've answered them all before. And saying you're thinking I have doubts about you is a very odd thing to say, don't you think? I was trying to understand your work. I understand you now, but you haven't still answered my question. Which one haven't I answered? I'm sorry. I can see you answered my questions. So tell me, how big is your family? I mean, how many brothers and sisters do you have? What about your parents? Exactly the questions a 65-year-old man would ask, not. And again, if the person that you're talking to online claims to be a mature man or woman, but starts asking you the kind of questions that a teenager or a very young adult would ask, such as asking about your parents and grandparents, rather than asking about your children and grandchildren, then, again, Ask yourself who you're talking to. Is the person you're talking to really that mature person in the photo? Or are you talking to a kid? I have 3 brothers and 2 sisters. My parents live in Australia, and my grandparents live next door. Granny Gazer's 110 and Grandpa Gazer's 115. We're a bit worried about Grandpa, as no one's seen him move for 10 years. What about your family? Unfortunately, my both parents are dead, and I'm the only kid my parents gave birth to. So you see, my dear Amanda is the apple of my eye, and the only close family I have at the moment. Are you on Telegram? No, I'm not, and I don't want to be, so please don't ask me again. Why do you say you don't want to be? What's wrong, my lady? I don't like Telegram. Oh, so are you on WhatsApp? I don't give my number to people I've only met online. Why can't we talk on here? That's what we've been doing so far. But apparently our man didn't want to continue that, and so he disappeared. I hope you enjoyed this little tale. If you did, please like it, please share it, please comment down below. Please subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you again in another video.